is here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Good evening, my friends. This is Mark Levin. My number is 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Boy, I'll tell you what. The leftists are on the move, and we better pay attention. A little bit of history lesson here. World War II was fought from the South Pacific to the North Atlantic. From Burma to North Africa. From Russia to the skies over Britain. We fought the Axis powers, Germany, Japan, and Italy, wherever they were. We fought their allies and supporters wherever they were, too. They had no safe haven, no place to hide. While we declared war on the Axis powers, neither FDR nor Harry Truman, nor anyone else, believed that the president had to return to Congress for authority to actually wage the war against the enemy. If Vichy France supported the Nazis, we fought Vichy France. Same with the rest of the world. The point is this. Once a war is being fought, the president's focus is on winning the war. Not going back to Congress and accommodating one egomaniac after another. He doesn't need to go to Congress for authority to wage and win the war. And members of Congress are not free to impose their battlefield decisions on the military. They have one role and one role only, as legislators. Fund it or don't fund it. Otherwise, get the hell out of the way. And what's happening today would have been unimaginable to our framers. Unimaginable. Not only do we have members of Congress and one political party trying to interfere with the waging of this war, they're trying to interfere for the purpose of losing the war. They want to limit the number of reinforcements we can send, if not prevent them altogether. They want to limit the kind of equipment that we can send to our brave men and women in uniform on the battlefield. I ask you, is that what you voted for in November? I ask you who stayed home and who were upset with the Republican Party, is that what you meant when you stayed home? Was that the message you wanted to send? Do you think FDR or Truman for 1 minute would have made our bombers stay in their hangars and our troops stay on this side of the border if we were being attacked by the Nazis from Iran or Syria? Of course not. Never before in our history, I don't care whatever talk show hosts say, never before in our history have we had the likes of a Nancy Pelosi and a John Murtha. Never before have we had the likes of a Harry Reid and a Joe Biden, who seek as their goal the defeat of the United States military, and hence the defeat of the United States. Never before in the middle of a war. They seem to think this was a war of choice. They seem to think that we volunteered to undertake this task. We were attacked. Well, Mark, we weren't attacked by Iraq. Shut the hell up. We were attacked by this enemy who is in Iraq and Iran and Syria, this enemy who's all over the world. The FBI even picks them up in our own backyard. And Nancy Pelosi, one of the most left-wing radical members ever in the United States House of Representatives, is Speaker of the House, where she is using her iron fist to reward those who share her ideological extremism, her hate America agenda, and to punish those who dare to speak up against her, like that Jane Harman, who was in line to be chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. One leftist after another is being put in positions of power. Whether it's the House Judiciary Committee, whether it's the Armed Services Committee, whether it's the Intelligence Committee. Is that what you voted for in November? I don't think so, and yet they keep telling you you did. Now, isn't it interesting? When Bill Clinton was president, Nancy Pelosi spoke in favor of our interventions in Haiti and Bosnia and Kosovo. There were no declarations of war. There was no consultation with Congress. There was no running to the United Nations and getting permission. She supported all of it. Yet no matter what Bush does, she's against it. She never raised a single question about Bill Clinton's use of presidential power. None. None. He supported warrantless searches right here in the United States that were physical, that involved going into somebody's home. That's the position of his administration in federal court. Pelosi never objected. And yet she voted against the Patriot Act. You know, she voted for cutting $500 million from our intelligence agencies. She voted against that $87 billion for Iraq and Afghanistan operations. She voted against arming our pilots against terrorism attacks. She is the most radical person to ever serve as Speaker of the House of Representatives. She is an anti-war queen. Not this nice little grandmother. A vicious behind-the-scenes operator who's undermining somebody's children over there in Iraq, who've put on the uniform in order to defend this country. And it's time that we peel back the facade that is Nancy Pelosi and expose her for the radical leftist that she is. And that's why she's been elected for 20 years from the most left-wing place in America. That's why. Now, she says today, according to AP, the president lacks the authority to invade Iran without specific approval from Congress. A fresh challenge to the commander-in-chief on the eve of a symbolic vote critical of his troop buildup in Iraq. Pelosi said Bush consistently said he supports she noted that Bush says he consistently has said he supports a diplomatic solution. At the same time, she said, I do believe that Congress should assert itself, though, and make it very clear there is no previous authority for the president, any president, to go into Iran. Excuse me, missy. There is authority. It's called the Constitution of the United States, and it's the president's job, beyond all other responsibilities, to protect the security of this homeland and to protect our troops on the battlefield. And Iran has killed 170 GIs, and you don't hear a damn word from this woman. Not one. About those GIs who have been killed and more who will be killed because we refuse to go and deal with the Islamo-Nazis who run that regime in Iran. This may be the first time in the history of the United States, said the president, first time in the history of the U.S. Congress that it has voted to send a new commander into battle and then voted to oppose his plan that is necessary to succeed in that battle. The Senate had unanimously confirmed Lieutenant General David Petraeus. They vote for Petraeus, and now they betray us. Bush has asked Congress to approve $100 billion for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Congressional Democrats are hoping to insert provisions that would make it harder for the administration to follow through on its plan to deploy an additional 21,500 combat troops to Iraq. He's called up reinforcements. And they're saying, no, we're not going to allow you to win this war. We're not going to allow you to win. We're not going to allow our soldiers to win. Is this what you voted for in November?